Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I am your host, Sergeant John PERRINE for Public Information Office. The Roadshow is brought to you by Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. For more information about the Alliance, visit www.indianasfinest.com. As with every other week, the fantastic efforts of Tom Trial is the reason why you're seeing us on YouTube and not just listening to us on one of the great local radio stations. But thanks, Tom Trial, for all your efforts. My guests today, first is Shelly Hunter. She's the CEO of College Mentors for Kids, and also have First Sergeant Rob Simpson from the Indiana State Police. CJDD, right? Criminal Justice Data Division.
Yes, in the IT section.
In the IT. So thank you both for coming very much. We're here because First Sergeant Simpson was nominated for an award by this group, but we want to learn more about the group first. So let's dig right into what is College Mentors for Kids?
Yeah. So good morning. So College Mentors for Kids is a national nonprofit located here in Indianapolis, and what we do. We believe that mentoring transforms lives. So we do that by bringing 1st through 6th graders to a college campus once a week where they learn about what college life is. We inspire their confidence, and we inspire them to create for themselves a brighter future.
That sounds great. So every year you guys have an awards ceremony, I believe.
Yeah.
So what was the purpose between creating these awards for guys like Rob?
Yeah, so as I said, mentoring transforms lives, and it not only happens for 1st through 6th graders and college students, it happens every day in the workplace, and we wanted to acknowledge that. You all can probably think about mentors that you've had in your life. This is our 10th year for our Inspire Awards, and it really does give us a chance to recognize those everyday mentors. We're not talking about the formal mentoring process. We're talking about conversation over coffee, a conversation in the hallway, the conversations that are really meaningful to people. And Rob was nominated by one of his coworkers for his mentoring in the workplace. So
this is great. So not only are you guys focused on kids, but even after somebody starts their career, there's still mentorships. I mean, of course, I've been a trooper 16 years, still have a lot of mentors that I look to. So what a neat program, what an opportunity to do. So what do these kids do that visit these colleges? What's a day look like for a kid that goes to a 6th grader who goes to a college campus?
So it's an after-school program. So after school, they get on their bus at their school. They ride over to their college campus. They get off the bus and are greeted by their mentor. They go to their homeroom where they have a book of the week, and that book of the week is all about whatever the activity is for the day. So think about all the awesome resources that are on a college campus. The schools of pharmacy, engineering, also the arts programs, the athletics programs. So each week they experience a different resource on campus. For a typical 3rd grader, it gets them thinking about what college life might be. It plants those seeds really early on. If we're talking about the School of Pharmacy, they could put on their white lab coats. They learn about how to read a prescription label. They learn why it's really important to stay away from their parents' prescriptions. So all those things, and that's just one example of the many resources that they have access to. So it's really to inspire them to think about what's going to happen as they proceed in their careers.
And you know what's sometimes hard to realize as an adult is how much somebody looks up to us. But I can remember my first interaction with an Indiana State Trooper, and that interaction really shaped this is what I want to do. And so these opportunities for these kids to meet people you never know what you're going to end up with. It's our future.
That's
right. So Rob, tell us a little bit about what's going on in the state. Maybe people don't understand that we have troopers who also do our technology. So kind of explain what you do for the state police.
Yes, well, I have a group of 6 programmers. Some of them are senior programmers and some are intermediate programmers. So one of the things that we do is that we oversee a lot of our programs, our technical programs, from our mobile programs in the cars. To some that don't know, a lot of the troops now, which is different from a lot of us that started in law enforcement, they can access driver's license information and even look up stolen vehicle information or weaponry from that might be stolen or missing. right directly from their cars. So that interfaces that where it connects to our Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles and also the FBI's NCIC. We help establish and maintain all those connections and the security aspects of that. So there's many different components and moving parts because we work with Indiana courts, the Indiana BMV, many other states through the inlets, which is a National Law Enforcement Telecommunications. So to do that, it requires a high technical level of both civilian and sworn personnel that work in this particular area.
Well, so what's interesting is how technology has evolved, and you and I have kind of been on the cusp through our careers of we came on right when technology was brand new. I mean, my class was the first academy to get computers in the academy, and so in-car computers weren't really a thing. But a lot of retirees listen to this show, and I can assure you that now in 2019, and anybody that probably has less than 10 years on, you take away their computer and tell them to go to work, and they're lost.
And I hear that. And I actually probably predated you a little bit because I started at a city agency before. Mm-hmm. So I first began my law enforcement career almost 30 years ago. And I often will tell some of the younger troopers that call in that hey, I can't do anything. My computer doesn't work. My printer doesn't work. I just might as well go home. That to get a hold of dispatch, I used to have to use a payphone and dial 911. Yeah. So it has changed a lot. But to some of those that are still on, there's two different components. Is trying to get some of the older guys to buy in and use the system instead of maybe writing out a hand citation or writing out their case report, because it does it allows us to have a better accountability and also to be able to research and find things more quickly by having electronic systems.
And I can't imagine a lot of our old school troopers back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, for them to foresee what we've come to. But for those that don't know, everything we do is electronic. Every ticket we write, every warning we write, every crash report, you tow an abandoned car, you impound a car, PC affidavits, it doesn't matter. Everything we do is electronic.
It is electronic, and it's continuing to progress where we're trying to automate that system better. Many people have iPhones today. You can think about, hey Siri, what's the weather going to be? Is that we want to continue to automate that to make that safer for the troopers in the car, because now you have to type in. If I want to type in that plate, I have to actually type it in. So we're working to continue to make that process safer, where I can say a prompt word and run me a registration check on a Florida plate, such and such. So especially with making the interfaces between these the BMV and NCIC, where it'll import that into a crash report, so to make the process more expedient. So it's growing rapidly, and that's one thing about it, is that you have to constantly be reviewing and learning because it's changing very quickly.
It does. So the main reason we're here is because you were nominated by a young lady who works for you. Mm-hmm. So Shelly, tell us a little bit about why Rob Simpson was a finalist in the construction, engineering, and technology category for your awards this year.
Yeah, we had so many great nominations this year. Love reading through and really thinking about what mentoring is. In this case, to read through Rob's nomination was really meaningful. So his coworker used phrases like, he makes me think out of the box, he challenges me. He asked me about not just my professional, but also personal lives, and just really inspires me to think about my future. So those are some of the phrases that were in Rob's particular nomination, and very consistent throughout all of our nominations, what mentoring means.
Nice. So Rob, from what I understand, has made the top 5.
That's correct.
But he doesn't know yet whether or not he's been going to receive the award. So the suspense is surely evident for him, but I think he's really proud just to be nominated, and it really just shows a lot about his character, his work ethic, his leadership abilities, because not only was he nominated, but he was nominated by somebody he supervises.
Right.
And so that's really a neat thing.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to think about, as employers, what does mentoring mean in the workplace. It helps recruitment. It helps retention in your workplace. That's one of the things that we find, that oftentimes the people that are nominated, I mean, it works both ways. They have been with an organization for many years, and then as they inspire kind of that next generation, I'm sure you hope your coworker will stay for a long time as a coworker. So think about like those relationships, what that means just for the organization itself too.
You know, and as you know, you've got the millennials and these younger generations, and as time evolves, leadership skills must evolve too, because things aren't like they were 20 or 30 years ago. You know, you go to work, you do what I tell you to do, and that's why. You don't ask why, you just do it. And now I think an explanation of why is so important. And so I think leaders of tomorrow need to be able to effectively mentor, but also be able to explain the why you're doing what you're doing, and not just because I said so.
Yeah, John, I think that's right. So we're a dual impact program. I talked about our 1st through 6th graders, but our college students are the ones doing the mentoring every day. And what we hear from them is, you know, my leadership at the college level and leading hundreds of my colleagues on campus, that will translate to those soft skills, right? I mean, that's essentially what we're talking about. It's really challenging to lead as a 22-year-old with a bunch of peers, but we know that it works. And we also, with our mentors, talk about like giving back. So our mentors are giving back as college students. We know that they also volunteer after they graduate. Those are things that are really important to an employer.
Yeah, so you're right, and it is very hard to become unselfish, especially in a career when you're trying to do what's best for you and your family. But that giving back portion is so key, and little things count. So if someone wants to learn more about College Mentors for Kids, how do they do that?
Yeah, thanks. So check out our website, collegementors.org. It will tell you all about the program. It will tell you where we're located, and how you can be engaged. Our Inspire Awards is next Thursday, February 21st. So that's when Rob will find out if he is the winner in the category. So we're looking forward to that too. Yeah,
so this show is pre-taped, as most people know, so we won't know until then, but we will definitely update everybody via social media when it happens. So again, what if somebody, maybe a school wants to, an elementary school wants to get their kids involved? How do they get their kids involved?
Yeah, please contact us through our website. So we look for elementary schools that are close to a college campus. We target elementary schools that perhaps have a high poverty rate, and also we look for students that may not have exposure to higher ed in their home. So that's one of the things that is really important to us. We want to expose, you know, these little buddies to opportunities that perhaps they haven't even thought of yet. So please contact our website if you're in elementary school. We'd love to have that conversation with you about how you can be engaged and engage your students.
Great. Rob, let's talk about leadership. And I know you've had some opportunities to go to some different schools, specifically the FBI National Academy, that is geared around leadership and leadership styles. So, but as a supervisor, tell me what makes an effective leader. You've had all different types, but why did you choose the type of leadership that you demonstrate, and what makes a good leader?
Well, I think one thing that I've learned since being in leadership is that you're always learning. It is different, especially a follow-up from the FBI Academy as we continue to look and evaluate. And I truly believe one of the first evaluations starts with yourself and maybe how others see you as a leader. Because I think if you're going to be effective, you need to know how you're received and maybe what changes you need to make instead of just how you're going to lead or direct someone else. And I think it's interesting listening to you talk about the young children and the early mentorship, because I see that especially with some of my newer employees, because most of those are millennials. They're coming right out of college and they're going into a workforce that can be kind of tough. It can be kind of challenging, maybe more directive than they're used to. So it's that's where I see us continuing on with that mentorship, and especially maybe showing them of some of the mistakes that you've made. So, you know, kind of that phrase of paying it forward to maybe kind of alleviate them from making some of the same mistakes. So I think the main thing is just continuing to learn and evaluate how you're being effective as a leader, and looking for that feedback from either your employees or your peers.
And one thing I've learned that leadership is you can't just say this is the type of leader I'm going to be, because everybody needs different types of leadership.
Yes, sir.
And you have to be willing to stay open-minded enough to change your style, specifically for each of the people that you might supervise. So again, our guests today were Shelly Hunter, the CEO for College Mentors for Kids, and First Sergeant Rob Simpson of the Indiana State Police. You've been tuned in to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by Cops for Kids, a subsidiary for the Indiana State Police Alliance. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody be safe.